That's a huge gap between Africa and majority of developed part of the world. Obviously, in Africa, the broadband penetration is very low. Even voice services, this is still very low, the penetration. So it's a huge gap that we need to work towards addressing at this conference and indeed at the World Radio Conference. Now, how do we address the gap? Obviously, in other parts of the world, there is huge ground infrastructure, fiber, copper, and so on. In Africa, we rely on wireless. So since we rely on wireless and we have affordability issues, that is capacity to buy services and capacity to pay for deployment of wireless or other wireline systems, the alternative for us is to deploy wireless services. And for wireless services, one of the challenges we have is the amount of spectrum that we can use to provide the service, because spectrum is very limited resources and we have shortage of it. So because of that, we have to look for alternatives, cheaper alternatives. Cheaper alternative is to allocate more spectrum. And unfortunately, we don't have that spectrum. That's why we come to ITU to ask for more allocation of spectrum that will help us to move towards bridging the gap. That's give connectivity to our people that hitherto don't have access. And on top of that, we can also bridge the gap by deployment of ICT services in our schools, hospitals, and other government services. Through that, we hopefully bring our people to the level that is somewhat comparable to the developed part of the world. Really, we haven't done so much. There are some stations. Some states have already digitized their transmission stations. Other states have not. So I would have loved to see more by this time. That is to say, I actually wanted to see digitization done prior to 2010. But obviously, every country has its own challenges. And some of the challenges we have are equally, like I said, issues of, one, getting the right policies in place to ensure that digitization takes place. It is very important to us to digitize as soon as possible, rather sooner than other parts of the world, because in Nigeria, if you're looking for license now for the spectrum is, for telecom services, spectrum is a challenge now. And meanwhile, we have spectrum that is currently not efficiently utilized by our analog TV systems. So it has become paramount issue, and very important for us to quickly move towards digitization of our TV system, so we can free up spectrum that can be efficiently utilized for, one, IMT services, and two, equally more efficient broadcast services. Well, the challenges are really principally policy challenges. The government determination to say, I want to do this and I want to do it quickly. That is the key, in the way I see it. Second challenge is, of course, affordability of set-top boxes, which again, government can come up with policies to if you like, chip in to support the, if you like, some countries use subsidy. We have resources that we can use. Government can create policy to put in subsidy to allow people get set-top boxes. We can also use that actually to leapfrog in the capacity building of people towards being part of, if you like, to develop skills for manufacturing of set-top boxes. These are very simple technologies that we can actually equip our people to do. So, set-top boxes, policy issues, the determination of the regulators to also move towards that, if you like, to understand that the need of our people to, and the challenges we face in the lack of connectivity and lack of access, and to quickly move towards giving and digitizing so that our people can have the benefit. Because spectrum is such a commodity that really you can't keep, you can't store. If you fail to use it today, you have lots of opportunities to use it. At the Radio Communication Assembly, this is where we determine studies that are to be conducted by study groups. This is a place where we streamline recommendations that are going to be implemented by radio sector. This is a place where we also prefer recommendations for radio sector to implement, and we equally implement or streamline the process of implementing the decisions of other conferences of the ITU. So from here, the benefit we can get is, for example, to allocate spectrum. Just give an example. To allocate spectrum, you also need to do some studies. So now, who does the studies? How much time should it take? What kind of things we should study? What other services are there, new, old, or existing services that we need to improve on efficiency? All of these studies are actually determined at the conference. That's the Radio Assembly Conference. Now, on the WRC, or the coming WRC, what we need from the conference as Nigeria, and indeed I speak indeed for Africa on these matters, in particular on the matters relating to allocation of spectrum, we have put in a paper calling for more studies. We have put in a draft proposal for additional allocation of spectrum. We also propose a resolution. All of these are keen towards achieving the objective of additional spectrum allocation today, if you like, at the conference, or the next conference, or indeed to put it as a part of the agenda for future conference. That is a conference that's come up in 2015. So these are what we are looking for to achieve from the conferences, and we have started work towards that. We have started talking to our colleagues in other parts of the world, like a developed part of the world, whereby obviously they have their peculiarities are different from ours. In Africa, like I said, we have all these issues of lacking wireline services or wireline infrastructure, which is not obtainable in, say, for example, Germany or France. So their focus might be different from ours, but we have to talk to them because we are in the same region to see that we align our different interests so that we can have some compromises whereby everybody leave this place as a winner. The last conference we came, we really didn't achieve much. Yes, we frustrated CBAN, but that's not enough. I want to say when I arrive in Geneva, I'm able to go back home with something for our people. And the only way to do that is to, if you like, streamline our objectives, discuss with others, make sure that we are able to get these allocations that we are seeking to get from the conferences.